Yeah, it's there.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Uh, First of all, I would like to thank our Null community, chapter leaders, volunteers, and all the participants for giving their time to gather around and then sharing wonderful knowledge on different topics based on information security. So I can say this is the best way to share our knowledge, gain new knowledge, meet the same-minded people. I can say security enthusiasts. So thank you so much for giving up this opportunity and starting up this thing since so long. And yeah, I would like to say that it is my I can say a good thing for me to get connected with new peoples every time whenever I used to go ahead with any of the session with Null Ahmedabad. So thank you so much, guys. Starting with this topic of USB forensics, I can say about me myself. I'm Swapnil Pandya, cybersecurity enthusiast, just like we all are, and learning things. I also have started one of my I can say startup kind of thing, which is known as infosec, which is based in Vadodara. Apart from that, I am a cyber forensics expert as well. I help different police departments to get some cyber forensics case resolved and so on. This is a small and quick introduction of me. Jumping to the today's agenda, we'll see what is forensics, its branch. We'll go ahead with the digital data and the types of data storage. After that, I would like to share my investigation approach. How usually we used to go ahead by in the form of investigation in digital forensics, or I can say cyber crime. Then we'll see what is USB forensics, what are the uses of, or I can say importance of USB forensics. Then checking the data integrity, why it is necessary to go ahead with integrity. Then I would like to go ahead with history of USB device connected, as we all have seen in the description of this topic on Null Ahmedabad uh, website, where these all sessions are being I can say advertised, that which session is going on when. And then we'll go ahead with the recovery importance, and then types of data recovery, and then the practical. Meanwhile, we'll have some different practicals as well. So jumping towards the same, like before going ahead, I would like to know, I mean, from YouTube as well. I'm checking out this YouTube comment section. So I hope you all guys are aware of a field of forensics, right? I mean, what is forensics and how we guys are going ahead, because in beginning of 90s and 80s, there were forensics related, or even when we guys are in our childhood, we used to see forensics as a Dr. Salunke in CID, right? So that refers to a biological forensics, where doctor comes and go ahead with these things, while as of now we have forensics experts in the cyber related things as well, where we have the different things based on the cyber crime. So that helps us to go ahead with the crimes. Okay, so I hope you guys are aware of the same. Apart from that, let's jump into the introduction of forensics. That actually forensics refers to the collection of investigation of evidence using scientific tools, some of the different tests and techniques based on the same. Further examination can lead to the information about past which happened during the crime. That refers to the exact virtual scenario which has been happened in the past. We can say that the same way we used to go ahead and we used to check out in the movies and series that how this crime is being happened, and how the investigating officers are going ahead with the investigation and so on. So that can help us with that as well. Apart from that, we'll see digital forensics is a branch of forensic science surrounding the recovery and investigation of materials found in digital devices such as computer, laptops, smartphones, then tablets, and so on, where digital data is being stored and being transferred for information purpose. Now, the exact purpose of forensics, or I can say specifically digital forensics, is to go ahead with recreation of the crime scene, for going ahead with the further investigation, for looking into that what are the digital signatures are involved, from where the attack is being happened, or from where an attacker has tried to access the remote machine or the physical machine, and so on. So the main purpose is just to recreate the scenario so that we can get a better idea of the crime which is being already happened, and which we are trying to investigate the same, right? So that is what the whole scenario of forensics. And the purpose of the same, I can say, right? Here you can see forensics has different. I have tried to divide it on the basis of main branches that refers to as computer forensics, that includes computer laptops and things. Then it refers to network forensics, wherever any attack has been happened in an organization or at a high level. We used to check out at the network, because once the network is being breached, people can get into, or I can say evil people can get into it and try to do data breach and other attacks on the same. Then we'll see mobile forensics, how people are getting their smartphones hacked, and how they guys are facing the UPI frauds and all other stuffs are being included in the mobile forensics. We see data forensics, where the data is being replicated, then altered or manipulated, or even in few cases being deleted as well, or encrypted when it comes to the malware attack kind of thing, right? So these all and the forensics data analysis, where all the data is being gathered after going through the event, or going through the incident which is being happened. We do go ahead with the analysis of the same thing which we have as of now, being a copy of investigation, and so on, going ahead with the different tests, different techniques and tools to recreate the same scenario. So this is the basic, or I can say, five main important branches of the forensics, which is being divided in the same. We see digital evidence now. Whenever it comes about forensics, the evidence becomes digital, right? When we talk about digital, uh, oh, just a second, sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, yeah. So whenever we talk about digital forensics, it comes digital evidence, right? So digital evidence refers to the data which is stored in a medium by a computer, correct? We see that many of times it refers to the event, or it refers to the, I can say, data which is being used in the form of image, video, then PDF file, Word file. As you can see, it can be in the form of any of the document, right? Digital evidence tends to be more comprehensive, hard to destroy, as we all know that digital signatures are not easy to destroy, more voluminous. It may be in a KB, or it may be in the gigabytes or terabytes as well. Easily modified. Once we have access of the same, we can easily modify it the same. Easily duplicated, right? As I said, that a database can be duplicated, altered, or manipulated. Even in some cases, it can be decomposed as well. So potentially more expressive and more rapidly available. This is the exact thing which we have already talked, and I tried to explain that how this digital forensics and the data in the form of digital evidence works. So this is a basic overview, or I can say a brief introduction related to digital evidence, which helps us to go ahead with the recreation of the scenario whenever it comes to some cybercrime, or some of the malware attack, or some different types of attacks being happening on the organizations, or websites, or other stuffs. If we go from the forensics way, and we see that what are the basic places, or I can say places where possibly data or digital evidence can reside. That refers to majorly computer, then laptops, floppy disks, CD, DVDs, as we all know, USBs, cell phones, voice over IPs, right? Answering machines, even wireless access points, routers, switches, wherever, or whatever the device is being connected to the internet, or in a network where the data transformation is going on and is being happened, that refers to as a digital evidence. Because at some point of time, at I can say at a small level of that as well, we see that there may be some chunk of data which is being over there, or a simple log can also help us to track any of the IP to go ahead with the investigation. So these are the places where it can help. If there is any question related to electronic gaming device, then we have already seen many of the Bollywood or Hollywood seasons where guys used to, or I can say specifically terrorist organizations used to go ahead with the conversation or exchange of information in some code language based on the electronic gaming device, which helps us to live connect to each other and play the same, and give an option of having comment box or voice chat, where we can go ahead and transform the information from one place to another. So that is also a kind of digital evidence for us. and in real scenarios as well, this kind of things are being used for transformation of data and information. So we can go ahead with that collection as well. The other all stubs are very well known stubs which help us to go ahead with the digital data. Now, coming to the approach, like how a generous, or I can say a general approach should be to go ahead with any of the investigation process, whether it is any of the website attack, or whether it is any of the cyber crime, whether any of the smartphone is being hacked, or anything related to cyber crime, right? So the first thing comes into our mind is to acquire the evidence, whether it is a digital forensics or a normal forensics, right? To acquire evidence is the main thing, because that is what the only thing we guys are going ahead and presenting into the court of law. Secondly, we can go ahead with the complete the form of evidence, that is a legal procedure, or I can say a paperwork, which we all used to go ahead whenever, even in the case of penetration testing, when we go ahead with the penetration testing, we do go ahead with the legal procedures and signing up the contracts on, and the details being transferred from client and the pen tester, that what are the timings and all the stuffs, right? So that applies here as well, to set up a chain of custody and to go ahead with the filling of some legal forms, where we refers to the type of evidence we have acquired, what were the time, what were the date or day scenario kind of thing, what was the situation, how many of the volume, that refers to any of the GB or MB if we know. So that all things are being covered into the second step. We safely move the evidence to the forensics lab, that refers to the specified, or I can say more specifically made the baggage which we used to take in order to not just get destroyed our data, because as we have seen, silicon bags are being used, where we can have the data or the device very safe, where none of the waves, or I can say infrared or radio waves, or disturbance waves can affect the data, and uh, I can say destroy the data. So that can help us to go ahead with this. So we need to take our evidence to the forensics lab. Then we prepare a environment, that refers to the different machines, that may be a Kali Linux, that may be a software which is being used for investigation purpose and recreating the scenarios and all. After that, the main motto of the going ahead with the investigation is, you cannot just go ahead with the data which you have gathered. We need to make a forensics copy of it, and then only we can go ahead with the data which is being uh, transferred, or which is there in the evidence which we have acquired, right? We do not have any of the right, being an investigator, to go ahead and manipulate the data which is in the original form of evidence. So on the basis of the same copy, we then go ahead with the investigation techniques, investigation tools, and other stuffs. And then at last we go ahead with the making of a report, which states, or which helps us to go ahead in the court of law, which can prove the crime which is being committed in what the manner it is. So these are the six steps, or I can say a basic procedure of going ahead with the investigation, how we can go ahead with the stuffs of gathering evidence to the end of making report and submitting it to the representative officer, or I can say a cop, which is the case in charge of the same thing, right? So these are the stuffs which we go ahead with the approach of the same. Now we do have a digital evidence basic model, which refers to the same, that is acquiring evidence. In that, there is two phases. That is one, the identification phase, where we need to go ahead with the identification of I can say a data, or a device, right? That refers to any of the USB device, any of the floppy disk, CD disk, or anything you can refer, or you can correlate the same thing with the digitalization, or the digital data. Then you need to acquire. Then comes the acquisition of evidence. That is the you need to acquire the same evidence, or you need to keep it safe. Go ahead with the procedures. Then authenticate evidence, that refers to the authenticity, whether the evidence which we have gathered is the same which was actually being used by the user. In many cases it happens that the same duplicate thing is being created and then kept to just I can say misunderstand, or I can say to misguide the investigator in the case where the original data is not being tracked or not being investigated. So that is also important task, where we need to authenticate the same thing. Then analysis of data, that refers to analysis phase. After making the copy of the evidence, we go ahead with the analysis phase, that what are the data which we have gathered, what are the IP addresses in some cases of attack. We try to reach out them, we try to find the evidence of physical existence of an attacker, or even the machine which is being used to go ahead with the attack. And then there is a pre-solution phase there, where we assumes on the basis of analysis what we have done till now, that okay, this is the assumptions which we have made, that the whole scenario has been started from the point A and ended to the point Z, where whole scenario is being happened in such a chronological order on the basis of analysis of this data. So this is a basic model of a digital evidence, going ahead with the analysis and the authentication and the all of this stuff, so including reports. Then we see that many of times we go ahead with our device whenever we are downloading something, or even we are in the hurry, or all of a sudden if any of the emergency comes, we may forget to just lock our computer, or even in the lock stage as well, we need to go ahead and see that what are the different USB devices are being connected to our laptop or the computer, right? So to go ahead with that specific thing, we have this particular slide to check out the history of a connected device. That information may contain the address of this USB device, then volume of this device, whether it is a I can say 16 GB or 32 GB kind of this device, or any of the hard disk. Then we can go ahead with the drivers which are being used, name of device, hardware ID, and so more. So let's just get into the practical stuff. I'll share my screen again just to go ahead and see what are the practical stuffs we can go. So just a second. Okay, so here I have this. I'll hit window R, that refers to the run folder. We need to go ahead with the registry, right, where we can go ahead and check out what are the other stuffs being stored at the registry level. As you can see here in this slide itself, that run window R command, that refers to the run window, and then a registry editor, that is reg edit. If I click OK, it will ask us the permission of administrative. This is the place where you can look into it. Then as per this particular thing, we'll see H key local machine, that refers to our laptop or a computer device which we are using. So here you can see this H key local machine. I have an option of exploring this thing. I'll click on explore. Then we have system. You can see over here hardware, security, software system. There are lots of registries entry which help us to go ahead with the investigation, and even to go ahead with the gathering more information based on the same. We'll click on system as we are focusing towards the same. Then we have control current control set, right? So it is over here. You can see over here that activation broker, then driver, database, hardware config, input, keyboard layout. There are lots of things which you can go ahead and see while going ahead with the information, or I can say specifically forensics investigation. So you guys can also check in these things in your system. Here we guys are focused towards enum, as I was already checking the same thing. So enum folder is over there. I'll explore the same thing. Here you can see USB store, as you can see over here as well. USB store is the place where we need to check out our data. So clicking on USB store. Okay, uh, just to make it more good visible. Okay, so these are the devices which are being connected till now to my laptop. That refers to any of the HP pen drive, right? Then Jetflash Transcend, SanDisk pen drive, and then Toshiba. So these are the different device USB devices, I can say more specifically, being connected to it. If I click on this Transcend one, I have this thing. Here I can see the the details based on that particular device, that okay, USB store, the hardware ID is over here. We can say friendly name, that refers to Jetflash Transcend 16 GB USB device, that is being given by the manufacturing company. Then you can see the address as well. You can see the capabilities, that refers to this. Then we have config flags. container ID, device description, drivers which are being used to help us to get connected with this device, then service that refers to the disk which is being used for transformation of data, and manufacturing, that standard disk device you can see. So there are lots of different informations which are available over there. The same will be there with this. If we see right here, you can see Toshiba trans memory USB device and the same thing, hardware ID, and these stuffs. So this is where you can check out the history of the connected devices, or I can say USB devices which is being connected to your system. And that may be any of the laptop, tablet, or anything. If you guys are running with this Windows, the same is over there in the Linux machine as well. In the log folders you can check out this particular logs where it is being having the information of this particular device is being connected to your system. So this is what we see by looking into the history of connected USB device, where we can see that any of the data is being transferred, whether it is a server or it is a data server refers to the multiple types of server, that is a web server, then we can say database server, and so on. The same way we can check out the network as well, if there is any unknown devices being connected to the same. This refers to the many times many companies are having BYOD policies as well. So in that case is the administrator over there who tries to keep an eye on the network, check keep an eye on this regular stuff, that what kind of different devices are being connected. For suppose example, I am having my organization and I see that I normally use my this particular pen drive that refers to the Jet Plus Transcan, and then all of a sudden I use multiple other devices as well. Then that particular administrator can come and ask me that, okay, why you are coming up with the new devices which are not your, or I can say which are not being generally used by you till now. So that helps us to go ahead with analysis of that as well, if there is any uh, not common thing being tracked or being registered or stored over there. So that is what I can say help us to go ahead with the history of this thing. So yeah, this was the place where we can go ahead and check this USB devices which is being connected. Moving ahead, we see integrity of data. Like we have already seen, as we are security geeks, we have seen that whenever we guys go ahead and download any of the Linux based distro or any of the operating system, we see there is a column which says that MD5 checksum, right? After downloading, we need to first go ahead with that procedure, that whether the same thing is being downloaded or there is any manipulation on that. So integrity is the most important part, as we see. And even it is a core concept of CIA, right, that refers to confidentiality, integrity, and availability by creating any of the security policy. So integrity plays a most important role in this digital era. Mainly there are two types of integrity, that is physical integrity and logical integrity. Physical integrity can be checked with the help of specific details that are being shown. For example, let's see, I goes and purchase some electronic device from any of the online platform, right? So I see there is information based on I can say bill number is there, then some other tags or delivery tag and all those stuffs. Whenever delivery comes, I need to cross verify the same thing which is available in my application or in my account, or track ID as well. I don't know why I'm facing this, but yeah. So the same thing we need to check in the physical integrity thing. Again, then there is a logical integrity which refers to the check MD5 checksum of a data or some other types of checksums as well. Now, data integrity is normally enforced in database system by a series of integrity constraints or rules. There are lots of different constraints to check and go ahead with the I can say integrity of a data, which refers to the confidence, or I can say assurity, that the data is not being manipulated or even is not being accessed by an unauthorized user. Sorry. So that is what helps us. So for data integrity, normally we used to go ahead with MD5 checksum, right? That we sees. Let me try to help you over there. We'll just check in Kali Linux. If we see in their official download, we have this SHA 255, that is MD5 checksum, then SHA 256, and lots of other, you know, uh, checkpoints where we used to check and have an eye on the integrity of the data. So this helps us to check if I download this particular version of the Kali Linux, and then I need to go ahead with the command line interface and check the some of this particular thing, whether it is being manipulated or changed or not. So this helps us to have a surety or a kind of confidence on the data which we guys are transferring or downloading from a portal, that refers to no change in that. So the same thing is being checked and by going to the file history as well. So this is what the, I can say, integrity of a data refers to. Then a USB forensics, coming to the part that what is USB forensics. If you see specifically, digital forensics analysis of USB device includes prevention, preservation, collection, validation, identification, and analysis of the documented digital evidence. Right. So this all comes under that phase which we have already seen in the previous slide, that refers to digital evidence basic model. Okay. Sometimes it is necessary to check whether the given file from the USB is as it is as the sender has sent or not. So in this case, if I would give up a point over here, is that many time it refers that if we see to an incident or a video clip that refers to a scene of a Mr. Robot season. I hope you guys have all seen the same thing, because that is a initial stage when a security geek or enthusiast goes into this field, that helps us to go ahead and know some more things and get ourselves motivated, right? So in that scene, if you have seen that that girl is going to throw up the pen drives on the road, having the rootkit installed in it or the malicious code. As soon as a person gets connected, that can infiltrate the particular network or device or a computer thing, right? So the same thing happens over here as well. Before going ahead with the connectivity of the same thing and directly just copying and pasting it, or pasting it the data from USB to our device, we need to make sure that the thing which is being sent or which is being over there is the same. So in this case, whenever there is any confidential data which you guys are trying to share from one place to, or one device to another device using USB device, you first ensure the MD5 sum or the integrity of the data using this USB forensics analysis. And then the same thing you need to apply to the other device as well, in order to make sure that in between, if anyone having any of the access to that particular physical device or a network, that is being not being changed or altered. Or in simple words, if I can say, it helps us to avoid man in the middle attack kind of thing, right? So in many cases, it happens that attacker manipulates sensitive data, as we all know. Attackers can try implement virus and malwares, which can not only harm the data, but sometimes it lead to take remote control as well. That refers to the rootkits which are over there. So that is what I tried to explain, give it by giving you the one example or a scene of this Mr. Robot season. So that helps us over there. So to ensure these things, we have USB forensics, which helps us to go ahead with the data analysis and the check of the authenticity, and then we can go ahead with the transfer of data and having this copy paste and cut paste thing of it. So and now this was what all we have gone through about the forensics, types of forensics, then digital forensics, and the branches of digital forensics, why it is important, and the USB forensics, and all the evidence model, right? Now it has been happened many times with all of the normal people, or I can say with all of us, that by mistake we delete the data which is the important one. It has happened with me as well. I have by mistake gone into the root folder, like I was in the mass of my laptop. So by mistake, I have just clicked the using root permissions. I have just gone with the shift delete, and boom, I have lost my 500 GB of data at just one click. So recovery of data is the most important thing, which helps us to go ahead with all of the things, whether it is any of the images we have stored, any of the videos, any of the tutorials for educational purpose, any of the, I can say, documents that refers to the legal documents, or any of the secret keys, or anything, like data refers to anything, right? So many of time it has happened that just because of that thing, or by mistake, we have deleted something. So in order to recover that particular things, we guys are going ahead with the practical of USB forensics, where we will be deleting something permanently and then again trying to recovering the same thing from the permanent deleted stuff, right? So in order to avoid such circumstances, we use data recovery techniques that refers to paid as well as freeware tools, I can say. The main reason of, or I can say some of the core reasons behind this data recovery may be physical damage as well. Whenever we guys see that, by even traveling on a vehicle, we see we drop our phone, or with some reason we see digital, or sorry, I can say physical damage to our device. Data theft is also one thing, that if someone has just deleted some data, first that attacker has tried to go ahead with the thing, and then I can say they try to delete the data. So if we have a technique of recovering that data, we can pull up that particular data from that, or this may happens, data theft happens in the ransomware cases as well. Okay, then I can say corrupted disk. Many of time it happens that any of the antivirus or sorry, virus kind of thing has corrupted all our data. Recently I have seen that case is something that, one of our relative is facing the same in scenario, like they guys having the issue with their pen drive given by a videographer of their close relatives wedding, and that was the only one proof I can say. I mean, वो एक ही एक प्रूफ था कि इन्होंने शादी की है ऐसा, like the video was in the same pen drive and that the pen drive has been corrupted. So the scenario was like, what they can do now, and videographer has already deleted the data from his own laptop or the computer device. So in such scenarios as well, we can just go ahead with the steps, or sorry, just a second, I see there are some chat, but not able to pull out this. Okay, okay, right. Then operating system failure is also one of the important thing which helps us to lead our data loss. So these are the core reasons, or I can say most common reasons, to go ahead with the data recovery. We'll check tools for data recovery. There are multiple tools available. Even many of times there are lots of companies over there who claims that they help you to go ahead with the 100% data recovery. So yeah, that may be happen. There are lots of different or advanced level techniques which help us to recover the data. But again, that refers to the importance you give to the data and the charge which you can afford as well. Because when I have lost my 500 GB of data, I tried to get in touch with multiple companies, and they guys are like, I have heard the charge that is per GB. The guys are charging 1,000 rupees. So you can imagine that if you are trying to recover 200 GB of data, then how much it costs you, right? So for that, we look forward to the open source tools, because I see that most of the security geeks are focused towards open source tools, that refers to any of the operating system or any of the tools. So these are the my tools which I use normally in day to day life when it comes to the data recovery. That is Ncase, then FTK manager, which helps me to go ahead with the full copy of the same. Then sleuth kit is one of the same thing, disk drill and foremost. So these are the things which are being used for free of cost, and which can help us to go ahead with the recovery of the tool at the maximum instincts, right? Because this is my own personal experience, I would say. Because and I can say that when I lost the same thing, I got in touch with one of our Null community member, refers to Jay. We both worked on the same thing, and we tried to recover my data by our own, and we succeeded as well. At most, few of the things were not recovered, but yes, I can say most of the things were recovered from that. So the same thing we guys are going ahead with here. Okay, so let's get our hands dirty. I'll see. Okay, so if you see, I have sorry, yeah, this is my pen drive. You can see I have given the name. If you check out the this USB device, that is of 16 GB. Okay, I have this folder and this many of the, let me make it large icon. These are the images I'm having. You guys can have a look to this for a while. Okay, we will be going ahead with the deletion of this data, and then again we'll try to recover this particular I can say images which are over there in this. Like in case we have deleted the same thing, how we can recover using freeware tools. Okay, so these are the data. I am going over there. I am selecting it. I am pressing it shift delete. So we get an alert that, are you sure you want to permanently delete this folder? I'll click yes, and yeah, we can see this as an empty. Okay. Now what I can do to recover this thing if I have accidentally dismissed it? I'll just go. I'm using a tool of Sleuth Kit, that is PhotoRec. This basically focus towards the recovery of image file. I can say image or video file, or I can say media file. Okay, but it helps us to go ahead with the document recovery as well. So this is what you can go ahead. Here it is asking us by default. It selects the tool. So whether I want to go ahead with my hard disk that is over there in my laptop, or I want to go ahead with this. So I'll go with this that plus transcend. I'll hit proceed. Then I see that no partition, or that is one partition, that is NTFS, and we have given the name of gray. As you guys can see over here as well, that I have given it to my pen drive name. So I'll select this first one. By default it was selected, so I'll select this. But in case if you guys are going ahead with the recovery of your own laptop and having three partitions over there, then you need to have a better idea of the size, that the particular thing, that is 1, 2, or 3, if in case of this partition. And then you need to select that particular thing to look into that data which is being deleted. Okay, so this is what which helps us over there. I'll hit proceed with this. Then it is asking, extension file system or other. By default, it uses other because it will try all of the file systems rather than going ahead with this Linux-based file system. I can say that is, it will see FAT, NTFS, or any of the file system it has. I'll hit enter. Now it is asking that scan for file from NTFS unlocated space only, or extract files from whole partition. So we'll go ahead with the by default selected location. If we go ahead with the whole as well, there is no issue in that. It will try to go ahead with the whole 16 GB of the data which is being over there, right? Which is not being allocated as well, because we know that full space we guys are not having access to it. Whether it is of 64 GB as well, we have access till the 62 GB, or I can say 61 or 63 GB of the memory space, right? So if we go ahead with the whole thing, it will go ahead with the whole 64 GB, and if we go ahead with the free thing, then it will go ahead with that limited space that we have as a 14 GB as of now in the 16 GB pen drive, USB drive. So I'll go ahead with this. Now it is trying to directory listing. Okay, now if you read to this instructions, please select a destination to save the recovered file. It is asking us to go ahead with the recovery. Sorry, here you can see we have D folder. So I'll hit this, and now once we select the same thing, we need to press Control C, or I can say Shift C, or Simple C will also help us when the destination. Sorry, when the destination is correct. So I'm pressing it C. It started recovering. We'll wait for a while. I mean, it will take a lot of time, but we'll wait for 2 to 5 minutes, and then we'll stop the same recovery. Here you can see 5 JPG images is being recovered. One PNG image, one exe is being recovered. Okay, so looks like we must have recovered the same thing, but still let's have a try for a minute while. It will take 12 minutes for this whole check, but let's just drop it. It will ask you whether you want to quit or not. Yes, we want to quit it. You can see 45 files saved in this particular directory. That refers to here. You can see that. That's why I have this minimized it. I'll hit quit. Again, it has, went to the initial stage where we need to select the device. I'll minimize this terminal and I'll. Hello? Yes? Yes, is there anything? Jamin, is there anything or should I continue?
Please continue, Swapnil. Nothing
Oh,
from us, sir.
okay, okay. So here you can see there are lots of other files which is being, just a moment, I'll make it medium icons. Other files are being also recovered, but if we focus towards the images which we were having, that are the 6 images which we already had, we recovered the same thing. Now the question may arise is that, there are three different possibilities. One is that it may be in the recycle bin, but we have eliminated that option by clicking on the shift delete, which deletes the permanent thing, right? The second possibility is there may be chances of this particular chunks in the device till, or in the RAM till the time our laptop or our device is on. But I would like to add up over here is that even in case of you shut down your laptop or computer, and again if you try to recover the same thing, you will get this recovery over there. So these are the different possibilities. First is I can say this recycle bin, yeah. Second thing is the permanent, the till the time we have this laptop on. And the third thing is, even if there is any question that even if I shut down my laptop and then also I go ahead by again operating the same thing and trying to recover it, yes, you can go ahead and recover the same thing. So this is what we guys are having on this USB forensics, I would say. Okay. So, in case of any doubt or anything specifically related to this, like we are open for questions if there is any. I am having an eye on comment box of this live chat in YouTube. So, there is any question, you guys can go ahead. You can get in touch with me with the help of this email address, LinkedIn profile, and Twitter, and a blogspot that refers to Dark State Hackers, where I usually used to go ahead with blogging on it. So, this is where you guys can reach me. And yeah, we are open for questions as well if there is any. What if USB files are encrypted? You will get an encrypted file as well, and then you need to go ahead with the decryption of it. I mean, when you try with the encrypted file, deleting the same thing, you will get the encrypted device itself and password protected. Yes, that is what I'm telling. That whatever in whatever the state you are deleting it, whether it is encrypted or decrypted or even a password protected file, you will recover in the same form. Or I can say, based on the tool which we are using, you will be cracking that particular password and getting recovery of it or not. But most probably you will get it in the general form instead of encrypted or password protected thing, because whenever, as you have seen over here, whenever it recovers, it does not recovers the same particular file name or the extension. Many of time it happens that you will get the file name different from that, but you will get it as it was there. Whether it is a kind of thing, password protected PDF file, then you will get a PDF document. If it is a document file, that is a Word file over there, you will get a Word file or a text file or image file, or this MP4 or MVV file that refers to the video file. Apart from that, any other question? And I hope your answer is being satisfactory to you, because I have tried the same thing. What you can do is you can try by your own on the testing level. You can protect a file with the password, you can encrypt it, and then you can delete and try to recover using these different tools. I would help you with the tool list. These are the different tools I usually use and refer. So you can also get the same thing via GitHub or their own website as well. right? If you face, or if you even try to if you encounter any of the new result, please get in touch. We'll go ahead with the discussion on that, and we'll see that what are the different results we are getting that can help us with the further analysis and some test cases as well. Okay, so these are the tools which you can use. Okay, so again, in the end, I would like to thank our whole community, Jamin, Namrata, Ravi, and Bashir, all of you for starting this. All the volunteers, just like me, who are over there to deliver the knowledge, to share knowledge, participants who are there to gain knowledge. So, thank you so much for giving up this time and the opportunity. Over to you, Jamin. And one more thing I would like to add up over here is that infosec is something that gives the here in null community you will get a definite knowledge for free. I can say, as the purpose of the same thing is to deliver the knowledge and share the knowledge for free. But if any of you guys are in the college level and want to go ahead with the internship at the organization level, we guys are open for the same. Like few members from null community itself has joined us as an intern from Charu said, Parul, and different universities, and they guys are working well on the same. So yes, I can help you with that as well. Being a community member, we are open for that as well.